Of that heat, let's check in now with Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sean McAday, because Sean, we're seeing something different in our area. It's a bit chillier today than we have seen normally this time of year.
Yeah, so we dealt with pretty much a month straight of above average temps. It really peaked early this week when it felt like mid-90s. And now today's below average. The temperatures today with our high temperatures in terms of climate change are actually less likely with climate change. But again, that doesn't tell the full story. We are only a small part of the country, which is a small part of the world. You look at the whole country and everywhere else is much hotter. These temperatures in some spots like the desert Southwest in these reds and orange, these are temperatures 2 to 3 times more likely with climate change. This is our climate shift index. Seeing the same thing up in the Pacific Northwest and the entire East Coast, including Florida. We're in Miami. These temperatures are up to 5 times more likely with climate change. So most of the country is dealing with the heat. We are pretty much the only ones getting a reprieve from that heat. And it's good for our drought conditions too, because when you lose that heat, those intense 80 and 90 degree days, that really prevents the really intense storms, which aren't as good for drought. What you want to kill drought is a more widespread kind of just light shower over a long time. That is a chance today. Looking west, we had those stronger storms, but as it's moving into colder air, it's going to lose some steam. Originally, we thought this wouldn't really make it towards our viewing area, but because that storm ended up being so much stronger to our west in a very small area, now that bowling ball is bigger. It has more momentum, and it's going to make its way into us this afternoon, especially North Iowa. Temperatures right now are in the upper 40s, touching 50 degrees in some spots. You're stepping out the door, and we're still in the 50s through about 9 a.m. Sometime between 8 to 9 a.m. we'll cross that 60-degree mark. You can shed the jacket or the light sweatshirt or something. You can go for a t-shirt. It'll still be pretty sunny, but by lunchtime, we're going to start to see clouds moving on in. I think at lunchtime it's cloudy on I-35, and it can continue to get cloudy elsewhere, and then the rain comes. It's going to be different depending on where you are. Generally, this is the North Iowa timeline. That rain could start as early as 2 p.m. For most of the area, you can count on it maybe a couple hours after that as temperatures start to fall down into the 50s through the evening hours. In southern Minnesota, it's not nearly as much. Maybe in Albert Lea and Austin, it's kind of in between the two, but for Rochester, you're looking at very light chances towards the later afternoon and evening hours. This is the latest computer model. Grain of salt, these light shades, because it's so dry today, are not going to make it to the ground. This is going to make it look like it's raining absolutely everywhere. A lot of this is not going to make it to the ground, but still some of it will. In North Iowa, maybe 4 p.m., we're talking about some heavier showers briefly, and that could definitely extend to Albert Lea and Austin at times. Maybe Rochester, best chances, maybe like 6 to 8 p.m. for some rain, and then things are starting to really clear out by around midnight. 7-day forecast here where the weekend is always in view. Things start to get warmer for a beautiful weekend, still dry and sunny Saturday and Sunday. Sunday back in the 80s. Early next week on Monday, you see that 85. It's also going to get humid again that day. We're going back into the swamp early next week, but because temps are dropping during that time period too, it's going to mean another good chance for rain.
All right, thanks, Sean. Minnesota has declared July 6th and 7th days of remembrance